So welcome to today's episode. So after what's happened in 2020, there's certain industries which are now gone for good. They're never coming back. And there's others which will come back but will never be quite the same, not for decades at least. Now, I'm in one of those industries myself, and that is the hotel industry. I believe that tourism, it's going to come back, but it'll never quite be the same, not for a long time. So brands like Marriott, Hilton, they're going to look very different after this. They're going to have to innovate their entire model because people will not travel and stay in hotels with the same carefree attitude that they had prior to COVID. Now, restaurants, other tourist business, airlines, a lot of these industries right now, they are dying a slow death and people are continuously getting laid off. Okay, so it's a pretty rough situation all around. But not all industries are on the decline. Some industries right now, they're actually booming. And in today's episode, I'm going to tell you what some of those industries are in case you're looking for a job. Let's get into it. So the first industries are the pharmaceutical and biomedical industries. Right now, companies in that industry, they are researching vaccine treatment and they are in high demand. And it's not just now for COVID, this is going to continue for years after this because everyone is going to be worried about the next pandemic. So people are going to remember 2020 for decades. It'll kind of be like the Great Depression. I don't think quite as intense, of course, but for that generation, they're going to remember it for a very long time. So companies in that space that have the ability to create vaccines and test them, in my opinion, they're going to be in high demand, and also they're going to have a much easier time getting funding, so starting new companies or scaling, because it's a hot industry right now and it's something that people really value. So they'll have an easier time getting funding than, say, a restaurant chain. So I think there's going to be a lot of job prospects, biomedical and pharmaceutical companies. So the second industry is anything to do with communication technology. Companies like Zoom have boomed in popularity. And then there's Skype, WhatsApp, any of these companies that people use to connect with one another, they're going to do very well. Facebook is already taking on Zoom with their own version. So even after this pandemic is over, I think that more people will continue to stay at home for more hours of their day. And where there used to be a lot more face-to-face communication and conversations and people meeting in cafes, there's going to be a lot more communication done online. So any companies in that industry, I think they're going to do very well. Teaching online classes or doing private tutoring is also going to be very in demand. I'll give you one example of that. Let's say you want to teach English as a foreign language. You could do that through a service like Preply or MR2 Education. And in many instances, those organizations, they're going to offer you free training and certification as part of their employment package. But it's not just teaching English. You can do teaching in general, and that's going to be in demand. And that's because people will always value getting that personal one-on-one attention from the teacher instead of just watching online videos and having that passive experience. So if you have expertise in one area and you can teach that over a Zoom call or a webinar, there could be a big opportunity for you. So the next industry is similar to teaching, and that's exercise coaching. Personal training is a lot harder when you can't see people. However, lockdown has led to many to take exercise classes online from home. And it's also shown a spotlight on the need for exercise to ensure good mental and body health. Now, I know personal trainers myself who give online classes, and they have seen their membership levels up by over 50% just because of the pandemic. So they're not seeing any decline. Right now, they are seeing a boom. So the next big industry is online gaming. Games e-commerce businesses have seen the greatest growth, with a rise in revenue of over 341%. New data from a company called Fresh Relevance has shown that the pandemic drove a revenue increase of 60% for online retail in March alone. So online gaming, it is booming right now. People are spending more time at home, they're bored, so they're going online and they are playing games. The next industry is delivery and distribution jobs. With people living under lockdown restrictions in their homes, the need for delivery specialists has increased dramatically and new jobs are being created. So think food delivery services. You've got Food Panda, which is enormous in Malaysia, where I used to live, and I also know it's in Pakistan and many other countries as well. You've got Uber Eats, which seems to be everywhere. Anything where food is brought to people at home in a sanitary way, that's going to be in high demand. And it's not just food. Any other delivery service right now, that's going to continue to be a big industry for a very long time. So remember, not all industries have been hard hit. Some are now thriving. So think about how chaos could actually create opportunity for you. Future employers, they're not going to judge you for taking a detour in your career progression. In these unprecedented times, employers are going to value resilient people who can adapt and thrive under tough circumstances. So they're also going to value people who use this time to focus on developing new skills. Now, speaking of new skills that are going to be in demand, I'm about to launch my own platform which will teach you these kind of skills. And it's going to be incredible. You're going to be able to learn all these different skills, get a certificate of completion to show that you now have these skills and put that on your resume. So if you want to know more about this, there should be a link somewhere below. Go ahead, fill out the form, and you'll be the first to know when it's ready to launch. That's it for today, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Speak soon.